In worship the last couple of weeks, Ankeny First has been praying for the United Methodist Special General Conference. If you didn't hear about the General Conference in worship, you may have heard about it on the national news. Before I unpack what happened at the conference, I want to explain some of how the United Methodist Church governs itself. Every 4 years, we hold a general conference to set policy for the worldwide United Methodist Church. Iowa elected 12 delegates, 6 clergy and 6 laity, in June of 2015 for our normally scheduled general conference in 2016. That's where the story takes a turn. In 1972, the General Conference added language against the practice of homosexuality to the Book of Discipline. At every General Conference since, legislation has been voted on to change that language, but each time it has been defeated. The United Methodist Church's long-standing policy prohibits our pastors from performing weddings for same-sex couples. It also prohibits, and I quote, self-avowed practicing homosexuals, unquote, from serving as pastors. In 2016, petitions were scheduled to be considered at General Conference to change those policies. It became clear that the long-standing conflict over the issue would not be resolved by those petitions. In an effort to move things forward, the bishops created a task force known as the Commission on the Way Forward. After 3 years of prayer and study, the group proposed 3 plans. One was so complicated it had little chance of passing. The other 2 were called the One Church Plan and the Traditional Plan. A majority of bishops endorsed the One Church Plan, which would allow annual conferences to decide who to ordain and to allow local churches and local pastors decide whose wedding they would and would not perform. The Traditional Plan would keep things as they are, with added measures to enforce the policies about marriage and ordination. To make a long story short, the Traditional Plan passed. It has been referred to the United Methodist version of the Supreme Court to see if the enforcement measures are compliant with our Constitution. If they are not, we will continue with the policies we already had. If they are ruled to be consistent with the Constitution, a beginning date will be set for the enforcement to begin. Obviously, many people are grieved, sad, and even angry. Many wonder if their gay child or transgender grandchild is still welcome here at Ankeny First. I want to reassure you that Ankeny First is still who we have been. Our pastors are unified that our top priority is making disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world through the method of worshiping God, connecting with others, and responding in service. Everyone is welcome here at Ankeny First, and that isn't changing. As we say each month at communion, and as we say again today, our communion table is open to all who desire Jesus. So is Ankeny First. Please keep our denomination in prayer, but also be extra gracious with one another in this time. You never know who feels hurt by this week's events.